The rain came down, so I'm able to record. So I am finally leaving Tirana today. I just took one day off to rest. So it's a 6 hours drive today from Tirana to Mostar in Bosnia. So I have exactly 2 border crossing, Albania to Montenegro and then Montenegro to Bosnia. It will be a long day today. It's only 400 kilometers ish, but the quality of the road is not that good and the borders makes it a long day to come. Also, I checked the weather and it's a really rainy day everywhere in Montenegro here, and I'm supposed to have some thunder in Montenegro, so I hope it will be fine. So let's go. I will try to record a bit if I can when the rain comes down like now.
A few moments later.
The day kept shifting, heavy rain followed by a brief calm. Then it hit again by freezing wind. Even with my waterproof gear, I still ended up soaked and cold.
I had to stop a little bit because I had one polar below my jacket. The problem is it has a collar on the top and the collar of the jacket takes water. So I had infiltration from the top. So the jacket is waterproof, it works, but the problem, because the collar was taller than the jacket, the water through capillarity enters within the polar inside the jacket. Let's go!
After getting drenched to the bone, I finally found a shelter, swapped into dry clothes, and yes, I may or may not have used a toilet hand dryer as a full body heater. Desperate times, creative solutions, huh? Once warmed up, I hit the road again, this time heading into Montenegro. And now, the mountains feel here like they have been sculpted by giants. Wild, raw, and endlessly windy. Every turn reveals a new masterpiece carved by nature. Unfortunately, I was not able to record much and stop because of the weather until Bosnia border. As I cross into Bosnia and Herzegovina, the landscape immediately takes over. Mountains rising like ancient guardians, rivers winding through valleys carved by time, and forests thick with silence. This country feels wild, untouched, but full of stories. Bosnia is a land shaped by layers of history, Roman roads, Ottoman bridges, Austro-Hungarian buildings, all blending into one mosaic. But there is also a dark chapter. In the 1990s, this peaceful land was torn apart by one of the most brutal wars in Europe's recent memory. As I ride through its towns and villages, I'll come across the visible scars of that conflict: abandoned buildings, bullet holes, memorials, etc. Each one a silent witness of what happened here, and a reminder that beauty and tragedy can live side by side. What I just discovered is in small villages, when you enter sometimes, you may still find some houses, abandoned houses, or vestige, what left actually from the houses, completely destroyed. But what is really hurting a bit when you see it, because you see the wall of the house quite destroyed most of the time, but you can see it also, you can see the marks of the bullets on the walls. And you can just only imagine what really happened there. It's crazy.
I just passed 2 or 3 of them, but I will not going back. But if I see some others, I will try to record it to show you guys. Okay guys, I told you a few minutes ago about the example of sometimes you can see some houses where you have the war stigmats. And here you can see, here is a building. I don't know if you can see it properly on the camera, but you can see all the bullets impacts on the building. This is crazy. So good morning internet. So today we are in Mostar. It's a small city in southeast of Bosnia. So yesterday I drove like 7 hours, in a rainy 7 hours, from Tirana to here. It's 400 kilometers, but it was quite tough to get in here. Today is a wonderful day. So Mostar is one of the famous cities in Bosnia, with Sarajevo and Srebrenica, unfortunately. So today we are visiting the city center. It seems there is some nice historical vestige and cultural points to visit in there, and there's also a museum, I think. So it's not too big city, but it seems that it's very rich culturally speaking. So that will be interesting to see. And tomorrow we'll start driving north, but today let's go to visit Mostar.
Welcome to Mostar, one of the most iconic cities in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Famous for its stunning architecture, vibrant old bazaar, and of course the legendary Satri Most, the Old Bridge of the city. Built in the 16th century by the Ottomans, the bridge stood over 400 years as a symbol of unity, connecting the city's diverse communities. But during the war in 1993 it was completely destroyed, an act that broke more than stones actually. Rebuilt in 2004, stone by stone, the new bridge now stands not just as a masterpiece of engineering, but as a powerful symbol of resilience, reconciliation and hope. And yes, if you're lucky you may catch the local divers jumping from the top into the icy Neretva river below.
So for the information, in Mostar I took the small hotel to rest a little bit. The hotel is called Mostar City Hotel. So it was on booking.com with a high rank, but honestly, except if they change, don't go. It was not too expensive, it was like 55 euros a night, breakfast included, but now I know why. The bed is not comfortable at all. The breakfast is quite bad, and the worst point is the fact that it smells cold tobacco and cigarettes in the rooms every time. You can vent it or anything. It's a non-smoking room, but and when I complained to the reception, they said, "Oh, is it smoking in the room or in the corridor? Because in the room is forbidden." Meaning people can just smoke in the corridor and forget it. It was horrible. So if you go to Bosnia, try to choose your hotel more wisely, because it was really horrible, and to sleep in this smell is so just keep that in mind. And also in the restaurants here, it's allowed to smoke inside. It's not like in Western Europe, for example. So honestly, your quality of life at restaurants, etc., is going down very quickly. So even it's better to eat outside on the terrace, because at least you have air. Inside the restaurant is closed and people are smoking. So yeah, just keep that in mind, because honestly it was a long time that they didn't had that, because in many countries, even in Africa sometimes you cannot smoke inside restaurants. In Morocco I didn't have that issue. So just keep that in mind, guys. So Now driving south a little bit, so Sarajevo is in the north from Mostar, but I'm driving south because I want to visit some waterfalls and some small villages in the south before going up. So it will be around 5-6 hour drive today. So just finished visiting the waterfall. It was interesting, and the good thing is, because the weather is bad and it's not the high season, we are in the middle of the week, there are not that much people actually. So it was pleasant, but the activities, the restaurant, everything is still closed. Yeah, it's hot, but the problem is, I know in a few hours we may have some big rain coming. So let's go. That's steep uphill. Good. Oh, they brought me the trolley. That will be much easier now. Awesome. Yeah. So I would stay a few nights here. So okay, first one out. Okay. Let's go. Okay, perfect. I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you. That's a big room for me.
The next days, I visited the National Museum of Genocide. The Bosnian War, if you didn't know, from 1992 to 1995, was one of the most devastating conflicts in Europe since World War II. After Bosnia and Herzegovina declared independence, violence erupted between Bosniaks, Croats and Serbs, driven by rising nationalism and territorial ambitions. Civilians became the primary victims. Entire towns were destroyed, peoples were forced from their home, and horrific war crimes became a daily reality. Sarajevo, the capital, was under siege for nearly 4 years. Snipers, shelling, and starvation turned daily life into a nightmare. But the most horrifying event took place in Srebrenica in July 1995. Over 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were systematically executed by Bosnian Serb forces. It was the worst massacre on Europe's soil since Holocaust, recognized today as a genocide. And it happened in a United Nations protected zone, under the eye of international peacekeepers who failed to act. Even today, the process of identifying victims continues. Many bodies were buried in mass graves, and then we buried in secondary and even tertiary site to hide the crimes and make identification nearly impossible. Forensic teams have spent decades painstakingly matching bones, teeth, and personal items to restore the names on the dead. Thousands are still missing today. The National Museum of Genocide documents these atrocities, not to reopen wounds, but to make sure the world never forgets. This part of the journey is not just about places, it's about memory, truth, and the responsibility we all share to remember and learn. After a few powerful days in Sarajevo, I left the mountains of Bosnia behind and began my journey north. Riding through Hungary was a real pleasure. Long open roads, charming countrysides, and the Danube always nearby, guiding me toward Budapest. But once I reached the Hungarian capital, it wasn't just another stop. I had to pause and wait, not to rest, but to get a vital piece of information. Because of the ongoing war, almost every western land border into Russia was closed. The only crossing still open to foreign vehicles was far up north between Estonia and Russia. Before riding thousands of kilometers in that direction, I needed confirmation that this last route was still open and it will be open when I will arrive. Otherwise, I have to turn back and ride all the way through Turkey and Georgia to enter Russia from the south. That will be a big detour. For now, Budapest became a waiting point, a crossroad where the future of the journey depends on a single border gate. After 5 days waiting in Budapest, I finally get the information. I was able to book online 5 days in advance the border crossing to Russia. So I was sure at that time that the border will be open at least for the next 5-6 days. Only option now, go on the bike, hit the road and ride north as fast as possible to be sure I will be able to pass the border within this time frame. Let's go.
Good morning world. So today we are leaving Budapest for Poland, step 7 or 8 from my trip from Crete to Estonia and Russia. So today it's almost 6 hours 30 drive without the stops. That means it will take something like 8 hours to get there. So it's only 360 kilometers, but it's only national roads, and I think it will be quite sportive because I will have to pass through the mountains. So I will cross the north of Hungary right now, then I have to cross all Slovakia, and I think Slovakia, it's a lot of mountains there. So it will be a good day. The weather is a bit cloudy, but it's not too hot nor too cold. In the afternoon it should be raining a little bit, it seems to be, but we'll see. I hope not. Well, I hope I will pass between the rains, but it should be quite a little rain, not too much. So let's go. I hope that the landscape will be good and worth it, because I never went to Slovakia. That will be the first time, and from what I saw it seems to be good.
little pause just at the Polish border, like 5 minutes away from Poland. Just want to enjoy the Slovakia landscape a little bit. I don't know if it renders properly on the camera, but cheers.
So, welcome to Poland, guys. Finally, Polska.
I entered Poland and began my fast journey north toward Estonia and Russian border. First came Poland. I rode through Krakow with its medieval charm and deep history, and then to Warsaw, modern, proud, and rebuilt from ruins of the Second World War. Next was Lithuania, an overnight stop in Vilnius where cobblestone streets and a lively spirit gave the capital a unique soul. Then I entered Latvia. Riga surprised me, elegant, peaceful, with Art Nouveau buildings and a quiet northern energy. Really love it. And finally, Estonia. Tallinn welcomed me with the sea breeze, ancient towers, and the feeling of reaching a distant frontier, both geographically and emotionally. And next step will be Russia.
Good morning, guys. So today we are Sunday the 12th of May, and it's an important day because it's the day before I enter Russia. Tomorrow, so my visa starting tomorrow. So right now I'm in Tallinn, the capital of Estonia. I'm driving south to the entry port of Luhamaa. It's southeast of Estonia. There's another entry port at Narva in the northeast that is closer to St. Petersburg. But the problem is there is some work on the road, so we cannot enter from there on a vehicle. We can enter Russia from Narva by walk, but not with a vehicle. So now I have to go back to the southeast of Estonia to enter Russia. Fortunately, the weather seems to be much better than the last days. It's still a bit chilly, but it looks to be a wonderful day coming. Hello. And here, just for your information, yesterday, the 11th, there were the opening season of motorcyclists in a small city in the south of Estonia. So I didn't want to because it was going back 4 times, so it's a bit too much for me. But there is a huge event with hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of motorcycles in Estonia mid-May to open the season. And I think they're alright because the weather is much better since then. Guys, straight from here, like 30 kilometers, a bit less, there is Russia. So I'm here, I will sleep here in Luhamaa, it's near the border. I will pass the border tomorrow. So here is Estonia, and after this line, over here, is Russia. Almost there. Woohoo!
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and see you in the next episode.